Okay, hello and welcome to another episode of Hiring and Inspiring. Today's guest is Jamie Tan. Jamie is a recent connection of mine on LinkedIn initially. She is a highly successful and highly professional customer service professional, been in the industry for many years and worked across a number of different industries, including the construction, electronics, and aviation space. So she's got a wealth of experience to lean on, and I'm really looking forward to having a chat to her today, finding a bit more about that. I know she's got some great ideas around the topics around leadership and professionalism in the workplace and that kind of stuff. So can't wait to get stuck into it. So Jamie, with that introduction, how are you getting on? And welcome to the show.
Hi, Joe. Thanks for inviting me. Doing good. I just got into a new role with an electronic wholesaler, so
Mm,
I'm actually enjoying that journey a lot.
yeah.
New industry, after coming from the building industry for about 6 years. So with the electronics industry, it's a little bit different. Lots to learn still, but the core bottom line is still the same. Um, Serving customers and ensuring that their orders are being fulfilled at a timely manner, and that
Mm,
if there were to be any questions that's posted to us, we are able to handle it quickly for them.
mm. Yeah, you actually touched upon there exactly where I was going to start because I know the big news is you've got a new role.
Mhm.
You've joined the new company.
Yes.
Um, you touched upon a few things there, but it's Directed Electronics. That's the new company, right?
Yes, that is, yes.
Yeah. So early days, I appreciate, but how are you finding it? How are you settling into the new role?
Settling pretty well because my manager is very hands-on. So even with the training, she's doing it on her own. And the company, when you first step in, it's so different. Everyone's so happy.
Right.
I'm not saying other places you walk in and it's not
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
the aura of the place, the environment. What took me aback was the owner of the company actually came and say hello and
Right.
welcome me in, and not that because he wasn't around on my first day, so it was, orientation, the onboarding where you go around the company and you get to know the people there. And they weren't there at that time, so it was gonna set a time where we were going to actually see them. But no, they came down right
Yeah.
at my desk and looked for me and just to say hello and welcome me in, and I was wow, very refreshing in, today's day and age. A lot of companies, they are so big that the higher management just don't have that time.
Mm.
But for this company, they actually made the time, to welcome someone at a lower, lower end of the hierarchy to make them feel welcome in
Mm.
the employment area.
Yeah. Well, so was that something that attracted you to the company, when you were going through the interview process and, you're deciding about which job to take
Yeah.
next?
The company environment is a very big thing for me because
Mm.
we spend a lot of time for work.
Sure.
And you in coming from an aviation background too, like, you constantly have a changing team, and you know what teamwork is like and the synergy that's required in team environment. So I've been looking for that for quite some time after moving away from the aviation jobs area. Um, Not saying that I haven't found it, but more so I found it in directed electronics because they've got a team. We've only like got four of us, but the energy is so beautiful that it's like, wow, where was I?
Okay. Yeah.
And where were you? But there's always this thing called timing. In life you have to sort of go through a little bit of difference before you actually find the right area that you would feel set in, or you would feel like, oh, I finally find that hole that I need to fill. But I still, even though I didn't have that in my previous jobs, I still fulfilled my job requirements at my company in ensuring that I'm still carrying my brand, because I don't own a company, but my name, I always say this to people that I'm mentoring, is that your name is your branding. It's like your company. You don't pay taxes on it. You don't have to advertise or do advertisement about your name. But wherever you work, how you carry yourself is your own branding, and how you want that brand to shine is entirely up to you.
I want to come back to that branding stuff you just talked about there, but before I do, I want to ask you about that team environment
Mm,
that you mentioned that you found that's really clicked straight away.
mm,
Because teamwork and working as part of a team is something I personally love. Most people do, I think, but it
mm.
can be hard to find, a team that works well together. In your opinion, what makes a good team? What elements need to be there
Good,
for a team to be successful?
good communication. Sometimes you don't even need to talk. It's that synergy that, all right, I know my job area and they know their job area, and we just bounce off one another. Or if there is a problem or an issue, just talk it out. Like, hey, got this issue here, what should I do?
Mm,
If I proceed it this way, will it work? And someone may give you an idea going, oh, no, hang on, maybe not like that, may come off too harsh or something along that line, or maybe you want to try this because I've tried it before. So in that kind of environment is allowing a free flow of ideas to come out, and not being afraid that you would when you voice your ideas, someone may feel hurt
mm,
or someone may take it personally. Because a lot of team environment at the current moment that I can see is that maybe people are not sure if it's because of COVID or the environment that they're from or their personality. It's that when you come to a team or a work environment, it's professional.
mm,
Nothing's personal. Everybody should be working towards the company's core value or carry the company's core value when they go to work, and work towards that one goal of what the company wants to achieve.
mm.
It's
Yeah,
like
gotcha.
when during my aviation industry, we always say everyone will have your personal problems when you're at home. But the moment we step into the aircraft, we put it outside.
Okay.
And we go in and we be professional. We do our job. Once we finish, then we come off the aircraft and we deal with our personal
Yeah.
things again. Because in the aviation industry, once that door opens, your shift is completed and your job is done.
Mm,
It's very different when you're on ground and in the office, where people may not think of it that way because they are on the ground. I'm going into the office, I'm still I'm still linked with my family or my outside world apart from my actual office. But think of it this way, if you actually go to work, I think we should try our very best to, if I had an argument with my husband, for example, I'm not going to bring it to work and feel crappy all day.
yeah.
I'm just going to go, all right, I'm going to work and I'm just going to focus on what I need to do today, and we'll deal with family problems when we come home.
Yeah.
So sometimes that line is a little bit blurred for some people, and it can be tough. It's not easy. It's takes a lot of practice at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about some of the best like professional relationships I've had. A lot of them, they are, if someone has had something personal going on in their home life or whatever, some problem, I guess in good relationship there is that sort of level of communication where they do bring it up and they do discuss it. You
Yes.
know, they're saying, look, I've got this going on, and I might not be on top form today, but I'm still going to give it my best shot or whatever.
Mm.
I personally think it's important to, I don't know, have a professional relationships in your team where you can talk about the stuff going outside
Team
of work.
environment.
It's not just all
Just
work
work.
and business.
Yeah. As
Yeah,
in that they in a team environment that they are safe enough to actually have that conversation, because not a lot of people feel safe because they don't trust. In today's day and age,
yeah,
the trust is not as easy as in, sometimes you just go in and you go, all right, you feel like you can just say whatever you want, like,
yeah.
hey, I'm just gonna, but some people may take it as, I don't want to know.
Mm. That trust can take time
Yes,
sometimes.
and trust is something that it's built on and not sort of given,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a lot of managers also hold back their trust in quite a few places because they may have been burnt before. Like, I'm supposed to trust my workers or my team members, right? I give them that trust. But somehow, quite unfortunate, there are circumstances where it bites us back in going, oh, hang on. And then when you start withdrawing that trust, people's like, well, you don't trust me to do my job. It's like, well,
Yeah.
it's a very fine line of balance there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where you were going with like trust in sort of leadership and like management and
Mm,
their team. I always think trust is the biggest thing
yes.
in a relationship, but
Yeah.
it's hard to kind of define it, or it's hard to, as you say, it can be hard to get it because it's both ways, right? It's
Yes.
the manager trusting the employee to kind of get on with their job,
Mm,
and then it's the employees like trusting the manager that they'll have their back for
yes.
whatever.
That's right.
So once you have it though, it's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is. It's like going to a party every day. when I first when I first started with Lemonex, I was a team leader, and it was a brand new environment. Well, I had no system knowledge, I had no product knowledge, and I was literally like a, well, we call it the green the green person, at the company. And I had a team of 11 that I have to lead. And at my first team meeting, I straight out said to my team, I said, look, I'm new, and I'm here to learn from you guys because you guys will have more knowledge than myself. But all I ask is you give me the chance to lead you. But we need to work together. So when they realized that I wasn't there to go nitpicking, because a lot of people think, new leader, new leadership, don't know what she's like. They probably nitpick, because there are managers who do that. But I opened that door. I made sure I opened that door to say that I'm not here to nitpick, but also understand that I'm a messenger in between yourself and the company. And I have to find that line of balance where I need to tell you stuff that's from the company, but I'll deliver it in a way where they may be more acceptable, because some leaders don't. They just grab whatever the management tell them to deliver and they just deliver it and don't care about, how people feel about it. But that's not the way on how you build that relationship with your team, because some news are not good news. Just like saying that, hey, KPI has changed, you are now expected to do da 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 da, right? But if you word it in a different way, or allow the team to understand that, hey, there's been a change in the KPI, but it's not something that you haven't done. It's just that they may have raised it just a little bit more, which I don't think you wouldn't be able to achieve. That would be easier to swallow than, hey, this is gonna happen. Bum bum bum. You gotta do it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So again, it's delivery at the end of the day. As a leader to their team, what is the requirement of change? Because I went through a lot of change in Lemonex, and it's not easy. It's
Yeah.
not easy when your frontliners have to, face that.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about Laminex. You were there for a number of years.
Mm,
Obviously, recently finished up with them.
yes.
What were your emotions like finishing up with them, and how do you reflect on your time in that business?
I was, to be honest, very sad because, I've been there for 6 years, and I'm actually very, very thankful to that company because they gave me my first job in Australia. I was actually prepared for at least a year without a job. But they gave me the first opportunity and chance with the job. And there was just so much to learn. The people there were so good. Training was very in depth because there was about 60,000 products that you kind of got to know. Not all of them, but because it's a building industry, you kind of need to know the composite of the product that you're talking about, because that's the customers that you'll be dealing with when you're on the phone. Um, in saying that though, there could be improvements now that I've left. And I did let the company know what they probably want to look at. Because with the amount of change that they're going through at the moment, they really need a very positive environment of delivery of those changes. It's not ideal all the time. And for myself, I decided to move on. One is because getting really complacent, and it's I won't say it's monotonous, even though I finished off as in being in the inside sales team. Like things were good. I was, enjoying the building relationship with the customers and providing them the service that I'm supposed to provide. But I don't think that I was growing enough.
Okay.
And for myself, I wanted to grow as a person. And I don't think Lemonex had that opportunities available to me for me to grow. So that's
Yeah.
why I kind of make the tough decision going, well, probably have
Yeah.
to change
Yeah. Yeah.
to somewhere and learn something else.
Yeah, of course. So if we get into the sort of nuts and bolts of your roles that you've done, the customer service facing positions, I know you're very passionate about it. I know you're very good at it. What would you say are some of the, I guess, key skills or like key strengths that you feel anyone who's in a customer service or a customer facing type role, what do they need? What attributes do they really need to sort of demonstrate in that role to be, to be successful in that position?
Face every customer, be it whether you are on the phone or face to face, always have a smile.
Okay.
That's very important because when you smile, if the customer has come up to you being angry, but you're actually smiling, it may soften what they're coming to you with. Because remembering that in an aircraft, for example, if you don't smile and you go around showing this really, like, I'm not sure if I can say it on podcast,
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
resting bitch face. You know how some people, they have that resting
Yeah,
bitch
I
face,
know it. I know it. Yeah.
but they are in customer service. One, you intimidate the person, or rather people. People don't want to come up to you, right? Second, if they are already agitated and irate as a customer, they'll be like, even more, their irateness will probably increase, because to them it's like, hey, it's your fault, but you're giving me that sort of a look. I don't really like that. And they become more angry. So the core thing in customer service is you really need to smile, whether you like it or not.
Okay.
And sometimes even when you're explaining something or trying to diffuse a situation, you kind of have to talk your words and it sounds like you are smiling and trying to be in a position whereby when your head is actually telling you, I really don't give a crap.
Okay.
Or rather, it's not my problem, it's your problem. And one thing people always say, in the olden days, they always say customer is always right. No, I'm not saying that all customers is always right, but look at the situation, because sometimes the situation is the customer is not right. It's just that they're just trying to make something out of nothing.
Yep.
So my thing is keep calm,
Okay.
smile always, and then analyze the situation that's coming at you. Be it whether it's, and how escalated that issue is, and if it's really something that's gonna, take you, and you feel like you wanna, I wanna punch on back, you
Yeah.
might wanna go, please give me a moment. If you're on the
Yeah.
phone, just go, can I put you on hold for a sec? And then chuck the person on hold and then go yell at something. Or
Right. Yeah.
what I used to do is I'm on Teams going, what the hell? I'm talking to my team members and going, this has happened, or pull through to the full call and then find someone in your team that you can actually talk to and just vent it out. And my thing is, if you've got no one, go to the bathroom, go to the toilet bowl, and talk to the toilet bowl, and then flush it off. And all done.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And
So
all that,
it's
and then and don't let it affect you, because a lot of people, like some people may take it upon themselves like, oh, the customer's upset with me. No, the customer's not upset with you. They're upset with the situation, or they're upset with the company. And it's a very big thing in the aviation industry, because you are really front-facing customers, and it can be very confronting sometimes, because the issue is right in your face and you're up there in the air. Where are you gonna run? How long can you hide inside the bathroom? before you have to come out. You know what I mean? There's really no way you can hide. So it's
Yeah.
like it may sometimes it's very daunting, the
Yeah.
things
Okay.
that we have to face when we're in the aircraft. Hence, with my journey after Jetstar, there was just so much that I learned being in that environment that it made my other customer service job a lot more easy, because I've already been through the toughest. It may not be the toughest, but for me, it was the toughest environment that I can be in.
What I'm getting is, don't take it personally.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't take it to heart. And
Yeah.
I think that's almost like a, I don't know, a bit of a metaphor for life, or a metaphor for any kind of problem,
Mm.
that you counter in your life. Like, don't take it to heart too much.
Yeah.
When you say take a moment, push pause, and it's about probably managing your emotions as well,
Yes, that's right.
trying to stay on top of things.
Mm.
Look, Jamie, before this recording, I went on your LinkedIn, by the way, and looked at some of your sort of reviews you've got from, I think a bunch of people on your profile. A few words like stood out to me about your style, your, some positive, I guess, attributes that you've
Mhm.
demonstrated in your role, and I think they're really important for anyone who's doing like a customer facing type role. Don't know, so I'm gonna read them out to you and let me know what you think, and let me know if they're fair. So I picked these out.
Yep.
So, thoughtful,
Yes.
empathetic, good listener, good work ethic, and approachable. They're words that stood out to me.
Mm.
Would you say, how important are they, I guess, in a customer sort of service, customer facing environment? Those, thoughtful, empathetic, approachable, hardworking, essentially.
So when I'm faced with a problem, I always put myself in the person's shoes that's at the receiving end, and I put myself in their shoes because I take it as how I want, if there's a problem, how I want things to be solved, and ensure that I deliver that service that is to their expectation of what needs to be resolved, but also my company's um policies and things that I have to follow, so that that's done and both ways are happy. The thing with being thoughtful is that you don't just solve. Sometimes it's not that sometimes that problem is not what you hear or what is actually there. There's sometimes more to a problem than what is being said
Okay.
to you. And if you think a little bit deeper when you're having those conversations and able to pick that up, customers will actually be very appreciative, because you actually go, oh, okay, you're actually facing this issue now. But I usually will ask, has there been a previous problem? Because sometimes it's a snowball effect that reacts to it, becomes an escalation. And that's when you go, oh no, that's not, that's when you're like, oh no, no, it's not supposed to happen this way. Let me go through with you with how I can help you. So my thing is, and that's where my branding is. That's where I say that my name is my brand. And I always ensure that I'm always listening very carefully, or rather we call it active listening in the call center area, is that with what the customer is trying to tell us, especially when they are very irritated and you go, I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? How many times can you say that? They're already very angry or they're very frustrated, and you're not even listening to what they say, and you get them to repeat themselves. That's going to escalate the situation.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I'm always ensuring that I'm listening. And one tip that I would say for call centers, for example, is that I have, well, it used to be a notepad where I write things down, but now I've got notes on my computer. I type in the keywords, what's required, what's the problem, because after that, then I know, I'm like, all right, once I need to close the case, I know that, I hang up the phone and I've got all the notes there ready to go, and that way I'm not forgetting things and having to call the customer. "I'm sorry, I forgot about this." And that way, that's when I would say my thoughtfulness comes in. Is that I don't want the situation to be even worse. I want it to, yes, it's worse. You've come to me, and I'm gonna solve it. It's not like you come to me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna handball, because there's a lot of. So I've seen things where people just too hard, can't deal with it. I don't want to play Australian football. When you come to me, there's no Australian football. What it is I kick goals. I don't handball. I want the problem solved
Yeah.
so that you don't have to go through the pain, as a customer, because you've already gone through enough. I want to stop the pain there. As much as I can in my power, I will do it. That's my thing. And I always tell irritated customers, like, yeah, I know you hear this all the time. We'll give you a call back, and there's no call back. I said, I guarantee you my name. I said, if you call back, right? If I haven't called you, you can call back and look for me. But I hardly get to that point when the customer actually calls me back. I make sure I call them back before they do. And I do let them know. I said, look, if you have to call me back, I'll apologize, because I do have, I don't only deal with you one customer. I do have a lot of, customers that I deal with. I mean, in the customer service area, that was, you're busy most times. You don't probably have a time where you can sort of break off and deal with certain things. But in the inside sales environment, even though I started at that point with Lemonex, it was only in August last year. By September, October, my customers know me. They know me that if Jamie doesn't call me back, something's happened along the way, the message not passed through. Because I did have a customer where they tried call me twice and I didn't get the call back. But I just happened to, I need to call them. And they said, I've been looking for you yesterday. I'm like going, what? And then they go, but it's okay. I know that whenever I look for you, you will call me back. So something along the line may break. So that's where you see customers already know with me that they can trust that when I say something, they trust that I'll action on it without them having to worry. And that's what customer wants. In a sales perspective and in a customer service perspective in serving, that's what they want. Just ensuring that whatever they've already told you, you're going to action on it. And not like one in here and the other one go out and go, bye.
Brilliant. So I want to touch upon the personal brand stuff. You mentioned you carry that about, and that's very important to you. So how would you describe the personal brand of Jamie Tan?
My thing is I've got my brand, and when people ask me about it, I say I have integrity. My work ethics is, I still have not, I can't say that I'm the only one, but with my work ethics is I will give you more than you ask for. And once I know what the working, or rather what my work consists of, I make sure that I'm on top of it. And I'm not a person whereby it's only my job scope. No. I would always put my hand up to learn new things, because that allow me to grow. Second is I can. Third is I care enough. I really care. I don't say it because I'm working for a company, but as my personal self, I care. Everything I do, I put a lot of care in it. With my family, with my friends, ask anyone in my LinkedIn. I care enough for what I do, because even with cooking, you gotta care enough to cook a nice dish out, or put that heart into doing something, and not just do it because I have to do it. That's just not me. And that makes me stand out, because not a lot of people have my kind of mindset. There may be, but there's not many of us around, I would say. I
Yeah.
don't know. I may be calling it long here, but having that kind of care factor and passion about your job scope, or rather your own name,
Mm,
it's a big thing, and most people don't see it that way. They just think that I'm just going to work, I'm just one number. No,
mm,
you're going to work. Yeah, it's not your company, but you're part of that company. And your name, as you go out into the career world, your name is your company. You don't have to spend much. It's just you.
yeah. I think yeah, you're spot on. It is hard to find that genuine passion, people genuinely care.
Mm,
And like you said, I think where you're going was you go sort of above and beyond for your company, for your customers, for whoever, right?
yeah, that's right.
Have you always been like that? Is that something you've developed over the years? That mindset, would you say?
Um, yes, somehow. I don't know how, but somehow.
Mm,
Um, I sort of knew more. It more solidified that I'm like that when I started getting like commendations from customers. Usually you just go about your work and you don't know. You don't expect any recognition or things like that. And in the airline, I was getting commendations from passengers. And then when I was in Jones Lang LaSalle, we had what it was it's management of commercial buildings, and there was like a award thing where they recognize workers. And then I got lots of commendations coming in from the commercial tenants again, and that's where it's sort of, for me, at that, getting all these is like, okay, I'm on the right track here. Like,
yeah.
just being who I am, in the sense that I care enough, and ensuring that, if I know you are not happy about something, or they're suffering or things like that, I make sure I alleviate that suffering into something not as best that I can. So, and that's what customer service is. I'm not a nurse, but that's my job.
So your background in the aviation industry, right? You've touched upon it multiple times.
Yes.
It seems like it was a really, I guess, important part of your
Yes.
career, important part of your development and journey. I could be wrong here, but I feel like you picked up a lot of experiences that have helped you moving forward and in your professional career and maybe your life as well.
Mm.
How do you look back on that time? Working for Jetstar, working in the cabin crew. It seems like that real like training ground for you.
Yes.
What are the main things you sort of picked up from it? I guess is what I'm trying to get.
So aviation is a very tough industry. Um, Teamwork is very important, because once you
Mm,
are up in the silver tube, really, it's not like you're in the office where you can go, "Hey Joe, can you help me?"
mm,
The team that you have up there is that team. There
mm.
is no spare. I can't go and open the boot and go, "Spare tire, come out." You get what I mean? So it's like and you feel it more, because if you have team members who are not being team players, it's very tiring. And in that industry, you learn a lot, where you gotta that's where I say you need to be an all-rounder, because you can't just say that, "Oh, I'm only looking after this area, I'm not going to worry about the rest." Because you need to, even though you finished your area of core responsibilities, you have to put your hand out and go, "You're busy, is there something that I can help you?" Or, "I'm done with what I need to do, is there something that I can help you with?" So in that environment, I learned a lot of, I guess, teamwork is a very big thing, and synergy is a very, very big thing. Second is that you really need to um be professional, even though you have had a hard day out of work, at home, and you come on board and you still do what you need to do. You are a walking advertisement. That's how I got my name is my branding. Because with the airline, you're wearing a uniform. While walking advertisement, where you go, what you say, how your hair is, what's your makeup like. Even though Jetstar is not stringent in the fact, like, you know, Singapore Airlines where they all wear, you know, they're all like the same, or that you have to have different certain colors. But there are it's like going to school. There are rules that you need to adhere by because you are wearing a uniform. And that's with any uniform group though.
Yeah.
The police, the army, you know, they've got their set rules that you need to follow because you're actually wearing their uniform and that's their branding. And I always, during my flying days, I always remind my team, I said, remember, you're a walking advertisement. They can see you from a very far place, especially when our jumpers are orange. They'll
Yeah.
you know, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you go get a coffee, make sure you know still walk nicely or drink
Yeah.
nicely or do whatever. But just be very mindful that people can see you. Whereas in the call center, nobody can see you, right? But they can hear you. So with that training in the airline, it was tough. Don't get me wrong, it was tough because that was my first job where I finished uni and this is the funny thing. I had 2 job offers. One was to be a police counselor for the prison in Singapore, and one was to be a flight attendant. Which I was a bit torn at that time. When they came through, and my mom just said, "Go with your heart. It's your first career, you know." And I thought, all right, I like to travel. So I took the flight attendant one, and there was just so much to learn because at that time, Singapore based, I was the first 20 flight attendant that they hired for Jetstar to be based out of Singapore. So it was a big thing. So if I was going to talk about climbing in my career, that was a good opportunity.
Yeah.
In an airline.
Just about grabbing that opportunity, isn't it? It seems like you did.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's
that's
done
life.
me really good.
Yeah.
Today, I'm still very thankful for that job. It's just open your eyes a little bit more because it's such a big thing, you know, being part of an aviation industry. There's just people lives at your hand. I mean, the you know, my customers, their lives are in my hand.
Mm.
That's how I see it. It's not
Yeah.
just like, you know, yeah, welcome to the aircraft. You know, I'm just gonna be here to look
Yeah, of
good.
course.
No,
Yeah, of
but
course.
your
Yeah.
lives are in my hand. Apart from the pilot, you're in.
Yeah. So you posted changing the topic a little bit here, but you posted the other day, a few weeks back, about I think something to do with growth mindset versus sort of victim mindset or fixed mindset.
Mhm.
How important is that to you? You know, having that growth mindset,
Always
you know, in your life.
always looking for the gem in
Mm.
the unfortunate events. So like you can have a bad day, and I always look for the little treasures that
Yeah.
what can I learn from this? But most people will be like, no, it's not my fault. It's your problem.
Mm.
Or if it was something that I've done and you know it's not probably up to the standard of a manager, for example, I'm always going, how can I do better? You know, where have I sort of like, if someone say, hey Jamie, you've done something wrong, okay, where did I do wrong? I'm taking, for example, I actually made a mistake last Friday. So I placed an order on an incorrect account, for example. And you know, my manager was like going, oh no, because I was given the information, it's just that I didn't look properly. And first thing, I was new in the job too. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it, you know. I said, no, no, no. I said, can I make it right so that, you know, when reporting comes out, it's going to be right and you're not going to have to think that, oh, because Jamie's, you know, new and she's. So when I make a mistake, I make sure that no matter how troublesome it's going to be, I make it right. And I want to make it right because that way I learn, and it's not like, oh yeah, just a skim through. So when I make a mistake, I want to make sure where I've made the mistake and I take the learnings from it. And I don't think that, you know, oh no, it's not my fault, it's because I wasn't. So some people will go, oh, because I'm not trained properly. Some people will have that, well, you didn't tell me. But that's not me. Whenever a mistake comes up for myself, is that where have I gone wrong? And let me go back to my notes on my drawing board and go, all right, just have to remember, let's make sure that this doesn't happen again. Because my thing is, I shared with my friends leader is, you make a mistake once, it's a mistake. You make a mistake twice, it's a choice.
Yeah, I love that.
The
Yeah.
same one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Same one. And I teach my son too. I always, explain to my son, I said, you can make the mistake once and it's a mistake. Mama, as a mom, I understand it's a mistake. I said, but Neo, you've made this twice. It's a choice.
Yeah.
So I'm not strict, but I teach life lessons to my son now, because it's not, it's just something where I'm not gonna shelter my son from things whereby I'll wait till you grow up and then I'll teach you. Because every day is a learning opportunity, and no matter whether you're young or old, there is some juice to it, or some treasures to it at your level of understanding. And for a kid, he may not understand, but he will one day go, oh yeah, mom may be bugging about, twice is a choice, but it becomes habit after, where he will take into consideration and go, hang on, I've made a mistake, better make sure I'll not do it again, because I must learn from what I've, done in the first time, because the second time is a choice. The third time, forget it. You've really made
Yeah. What I'm getting is just full like accountability and full like taking ownership for everything, basically. Not blaming your team or the environment or whatever. It's obviously those things can be factors sometimes, and you not making mistakes sometimes, but there's all I think, and this is just a theme I've always picked up on people who are successful in life and happy in life. They just take ownership for everything. It's always how could I have done better, or what could I have done.
And
Seems like you really adopted that.
one ideology is, when you point the finger at someone, you've got 4 pointing back at you.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Even if you do it with the thumb at pointing at someone, it's 4 pointing back at you, no matter how you point. Right? So
Brilliant.
it's like,
Yeah.
instead of giving the other party the control, or the environment the control, I control it back and go, hang on, this is something that I can do. If I've taken control and made sure that this part here, or this area where I can make the change, is done, then I can say, hang on, I've already done the best that I can. Where else has this gone wrong? That's when I'm going, hang on, it's not me.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Jamie, that's all. It's been great going through your past, your current experience, your present, your current sort of your mindset and philosophies to stuff. What about the future? What are you looking for moving forward? What can I expect from you maybe in the next few years?
What can you expect? I don't know, Joe, because it's not that I don't know. I'm very focused with my son at the moment. Parenting is a big thing for me. Hence, I've taken a back step. I mean, I stepped back from leadership role because I know that I can't put in 100%. Because parenting now sits in the forefront, where I want to ensure that I've brought up a pretty goddamn good human, not in academic wise, but a good human being, which our society and world needs, especially being a boy. And with that mental capacity consumed by my son, I will still have my little gist of my brand, and working on my brand and branding myself better. But at this point of time, I guess when Neo is probably in his ready to leave home, where the home will be an empty nest, let's say
Yeah.
the next 10, 15 years. I look to go back into a leadership role or a mentorship role or training,
Okay.
training people on their mindset or training people in how do you call it, conflict resolution, because it's a skill where it's fostered through time, but I rather people have the tools to I guess face the situation rather than they go, all right, I don't know how to deal with this, it's the end of the world. It's not.
Mm.
The conflict resolution, how whether it's small or especially tough ones, there's always around it, and it's not them, because most people, I don't know what the younger generation now when they're out in the world working feel, whether they feel the pressure in what's required in the real world, because some of them have been locked up for 2 years with
Yeah.
COVID, and that they are afraid to actually step out into the working society because they feel more comfortable being at home. But sometimes being in a working environment, it helps with a lot of things. I'm not saying that work from home is not a good idea, but sometimes being in the office, it does gives you that plus point of you can just turn to someone and go, hey, I need help, compared to typing in Teams and just waiting for
Yeah.
whoever responds.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get
For
what I
sure.
mean? And conflict resolution, sometimes it's not, it may not be a one person, I think this is the thing, and it may not work. Some things, some things that you think may work may not work, and someone else's idea may work. But because we are working at home, it just takes longer. And most times when the conflict comes up, it's time sensitive. Can't afford to like sit and wait.
Yeah.
It's like if there's something happen, I'll be like, hey Joe, what do you think? And then it's faster, it's like a 1 minute, 2 minute chat, and I can go back.
Yeah.
Compared to and then wait.
Yeah.
Still nobody typing. Oh my god, what's gonna happen now? Oh no. And that's when, like it's like sometimes, and that's what I feel at this point in time, is that a lot of managers are inundated with a lot of questions and having to help their team because of the work from home environment. Because as a manager, it's your responsibility that you need to be there for your team. Not many people will think that, hang on, my team member also need
Yeah.
me at some
Yeah.
point, and they are so focused with their thing. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it's not my job. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
When some people have it, they just like, wow, it's not my job. But hang on, but when you're actually in the office, it's like, well, you just ask the question. And in an physical environment, you just go, oh yeah, you can actually do this. And managers can actually do that, what they need
Yeah.
to do. So yeah, conflict resolution will be something that I might look into mentoring people with, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have a crystal ball. It's hard
Yeah,
to predict the future, right?
yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
right.
it seems that theme of just helping people is something that's sort of just run through this whole conversation. That's something very important to you.
Mm.
You touched upon then also your son there, raising him as a good human being, and it kind of ties into what is my final question for you, Jamie. It's more around how I tend to wrap up this show,
Yes.
the idea of success, what success means to you personally, professionally, which way you take it. What does success mean to you, and I guess how would you sort of wrap it all up and put a bow on it? How would you describe success in your life?
Success in my life is being able to give back to the society my knowledge through different channels. That's success for me. And ensuring that, what I've learned, I can pass it on, and help as many people be successful like me, because it's not something that, oh, it's just me. My thing is, if I'm
Yeah.
successful, I want to share with you how I'm successful, and I hope that the things that helped me along the way in my career can help someone else. Because that's the most fulfilling thing for me, is that it's transferable what I do, and it's not just, oh, it only suits me. My thing is, what I do, you can do too. But let's see how we can make it suit you, because it may not be just a photocopy, like, bang, here you go. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Brilliant. Jamie, thank you very much for the chat. Thank you for walking me through all that and talking, yeah, and sharing a ton of wisdom, which anyone I think who works in any kind of customer facing environment can gain a whole heap of great insights for. So thank you for sharing, Jamie Tan. Been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.